We are back with another video. This video we're gonna have Mr. Caleb here, because this video about him. It's all about him and his process, his little journey. So you ready, Caleb? Video about you, bro. It's not about us today.
So guys, I remember we found out we were pregnant with Caleb around July 7, 2017. And you know, we were excited, obviously hoping for a boy. And then yeah, we found out it was a boy. Then around 18 weeks, I believe, they told us, they actually called us, right?
Mm-hmm.
They called us and they said that we had to go back because I guess the doctor wanted to talk to us. We didn't think nothing bad, like we didn't think something was wrong or whatever. We just thought he wanted like an update or something. So when we get to the office, he told us that the baby was coming with cleft lip. We didn't know about cleft palate like around that time because they couldn't really like see or whatever. But he was coming with a cleft lip, which wasn't really surprising, guys, because I mean, I'm pretty sure most people know, but I was born with the same condition with the cleft lip and palate. So yeah, but we wasn't really thinking, you know, oh, this could happen or whatever. So yeah, it was rough, I could say, because like when I left the office, I started crying, but it wasn't because like, you know, like
Of the condition. It was more of the worriness.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's a lot of cruel people in this world that have no heart, and there's people that make fun of people, there's people that get bullied because of it, there's people that suffer from depression because they're born like that when they get older, because, you know, the bullying or the, you know, the name calling and all the other stuff that come with it. So honestly, it was a rough experience for us when they first told us. It didn't hit me until probably when he was like about a day old. Because the first day he came out, I wasn't even focused on that. I just wanted my son to come out healthy. But it started hitting me when after like I actually sat in the hospital and looked at him. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I always tell people, if you're a parent, and let's say there's people out there that have babies with cleft lip and cleft palates, and there's people that might be having kids with cleft lip and cleft palate. I mean, my advice is don't get depressed. Don't let it get to you. Don't, you know, because these kids are special.
I just didn't want to think, you know, that my son was gonna have to go through all that. You get bullied, you get insecure, you know, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, yes. So yeah, that was the big part. So then they told us, you know, we had to, obviously he has to get operated. So we went to Shriners, which is honestly one of the best hospitals. Honestly, like it really, I also got surgery there. Yeah. So yeah, so they explained to us how they were gonna do the first surgery. So what was it that they did first? How they?
Enhancement, I think, if I'm saying the word correctly.
Yeah.
It's when they take the lip and the gum and they sew it together. So he really had like about 3 surgeries. The first one was the enhancement, is when they grabbed the lip and the gum and they put it closer together, because his gap was so wide that they had to make the gum get closer to the other side of the mouth. So that surgery was pretty.
Yeah, it was probably one of the hardest ones for us, because you know, it was the first one. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how he was gonna come out, how, you know, he was gonna look.
And what they do with that surgery, once they sew everything together, they kind of like sew the lip together with the gum, and then they attach the nose. So everything is like kind of like tight, because when you're born with like the cleft lip and the cleft palate, you have no tissue here. Everything's open, so that's why the nose leans a little bit to the side. Yup, your nose. So that's why it leans a little bit to the side, but it's because there's nothing that can hold that. So when they sewed it together, and they did all that, and we saw him, he was literally swollen. He couldn't open his mouth for like about a week. So for those that see Caleb in videos, he's real small. He still fits what size?
Well, he's about 24 months right now, and he just started wearing
18 months.
Yeah, literally now.
Now, why? Because it's hard for them to eat solids. Yup, they can't eat nothing solid because all that is open. So anything that gets in there can cause an infection, or it can cause for them to, you know, for it to clog up, and then they can't breathe, because it's like literally the nose. He was able to move his tongue and touch the inside of his nose.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, we skipped that part, but he was also born with a cleft palate, which was, you know, a little bit more hard for him. The bottles are different. The eating, the
it's
whole
way,
process,
way more different.
He had to drink with a bottle called,
I don't even remember the name of the bottle.
Well,
that's all.
Yeah, it was like you had to like squeeze.
You had to squeeze it.
Yeah.
And let the milk come out, and then you squeeze it, and then there's like a slow, a medium, and a fast. So it was hard. It was hard to feed him. Come on. He barely ate a lot. Is because he burned more calories trying to eat than what he was taking in.
Exactly.
Because of the process of, you know, being a baby, they get anxious because they want to eat. They want to, you know, they want to suck on the bottle. And since he doesn't have anything to support it, you know, it was a little bit more harder. But yeah, so like my wife said, he was born with the cleft lip and the palate. Yeah. So that's why I said that the first surgery was a hingement. They had to take the gum, a little piece of gum that he had left, and push it next as far as possible to the other side, and then sew the lip together. So like that, and he was like about 3 months when he had his first surgery.
3 months.
He was 3 months. They asked us if we wanted to wait a little longer, but we just wanted to get over it, just for the simple fact that he was a baby. He's not gonna remember. You know, I felt like the older he get, and then if we wait longer, he's gonna feel all that. So they did the first surgery. When he came out the room, my heart dropped. I honestly didn't cry until like the day he was coming out the hospital. And it was just more because, I mean, everybody that came into the hospital, obviously they got sad. They cried because it's hard to see a kid like that, you know, especially a 3-month-old baby that now he wants to eat and he can't eat because the inside of his mouth is like throbbing.
Yeah, it was.
And it was hard. It was a real hard moment for us. Mind you, it was him, and then for that time the girls were only like not even like about one something. So imagine dealing with a baby that just got operated, and then 2 other babies, because we, as you guys know, the twins. So the first process was pretty hard, and then he was allergic to the medication that they gave him. So then the process, it was crazy, because then he started throwing up. Everything started coming out like from the top of his nose, his mouth out. We was just panicking. Like,
that was our first night home.
That was our first night home
with him having the surgery.
So then we had to go back to the hospital. And it was rough. It was rough. The first surgery was rough. But we're gonna show y'all clips.
Yeah, I remember. This is one of the first clips we're gonna show you. I remember, you know, one of the things I love about him is that even though he was going through, even though he was a baby, you know, and he was going through all these things.
He was always happy.
Yes.
He was always smiling and laughing.
Yes.
But yeah, that's gonna be the first clip we're gonna show y'all. We're gonna show y'all clips of him, you know, with the lip open. You know, it's pretty rough to do something like this, but I feel like there's people out there that need to know that, you know, that kids that are born like this, they're a blessing. They're a blessing from above. They're a blessing from God. I mean, I always say everything God does, He does perfect, and you know, He melted our hearts from the minute we saw Him. Yeah, he's like, don't rub on my hair.
Yeah, guys, that was the first surgery. The second one was to actually
do the surgery.
Yeah.
The second one was the actual surgery,
so, like,
which was
close it completely.
Yep, closing it completely, and then kind of shifting the nose up so it can have like a little structure on it. I mean, and the doctor that did it, he did an outstanding job. You guys are gonna see all the step by step of how it looked. But the second one, actually, we was kind of worried and concerned because, you know, the first one wasn't all that. How can I explain? Wasn't that was a bad surgery, but we was worried as parents. We was worried. We was scared. So we didn't know what to expect for the second one.
And it was a 4-hour surgery.
Yes.
I didn't know we should go to sleep or we should take a walk. We didn't know what to do, even though we already went through it, the first surgery. But you know, still, it's your kid. You know, it's surgery something.
And the second one, when we saw him,
he was really swollen.
He was really swollen. He didn't even look like himself.
Yes.
So it was hard for us to adjust because throughout the 3 months that he was a baby, those 3 months, you know, we got so used to see him with his mouth open, you know, with the whole cleft lip and everything open that you know, you get adjusted to it. And then the first surgery, he kind of looked different. And then when that one healed up, and then when they did the second one, that's when we was like, oh my God, what happened to my son? He's a whole different person. It's not the baby we saw. But that surgery went super well. Get away. That surgery went super well.
That's when he had the little things.
They actually had to put some. Okay, so it's like 2 little tubes that they put inside the nose, and that's to hold the nose together, like so the nose doesn't like slouch.
Obviously it's swollen, you know, so when the swelling starts going down, you know, the nose starts getting shaped.
It shifts a little bit, but what that does, those clips that they put inside the nose, it makes the skin want to stay adjusted to wherever the clips are. Because without the clips, what it does is gonna, since there's no structure here, it's gonna want to lean. So. And that was kind of hard. And that was hard because.
Taking it off. And
he just had surgery. We had to keep cleaning them, taking them out, and that clogs up with blood, mucus, and all types of stuff. And it sucks because when you take it out, after you clean it, you gotta put it back in. So
that was the roughest time. He would cry like a lot, you know. We didn't even want to.
And
put
it was just so hard to put it back in because when you put it in, you had to hold his head, put the 2 little tubes inside, and then you have to put tape on it so they stay. So a lot of the times we had to clean it 3 or 4 times a day because it got clogged up with blood, and it was just hard. It was super hard. So I didn't want to see him go through it like that anymore. And then they tried to switch the tubes to make them a little bit bigger so his nose could. But I just got fed up with it, and I was like, you know what?
It was hard to see him.
I can't keep doing this to him, so I'm gonna stop putting in the tubes. And
which they say was okay.
They told us it was okay to do as well. But thank God that, you know, nothing shifted, no crazy way. Everything stood the same way, and that surgery was real good. And then at a year old, so that the first one was at 3 months, second one was at 6 months. Now, the last one that he just had
was like 8 months ago.
Yeah. when he turned a year old.
Yeah.
And what they do with that one is they put a palate.
That was basically the hardest.
That was a
surgery.
hard one.
Yeah.
Just because the palate, what they do is like a plastic thing that they put in, like it's like a root. They put an artificial root, and what they do, they take the skin of your mouth from the inside, and they cut it, and then they patch up any little spot so nothing can go inside. So now it's not open no more. Now it's like closed. That surgery was super rough for us because he had surgery. He was in surgery for like, it was supposed to be what, 4 hours?
Really long.
4 or 5 hours?
Almost 6 hours.
So it was like 6 hours with his mouth open.
And in this one, he wasn't as swollen, but he was really uncomfortable.
Yes.
He came out, he couldn't obviously close the mouth. He was like with the mouth like open the whole time. He was crying a lot.
So just imagine they cut the skin from the inside your mouth, the gums, and then they patch up spots. So like that, your skin is weird how it works, but it works. So I want to look up. I like to research stuff, and I guess like the feeling is like, I don't know if anybody ever got burnt and then you had like that little white spot, or when you get burnt and you have like a little burn mark inside your mouth and it's like, oh, it hurts. It's like feeling that, but throughout your whole gum. So I can just imagine. So when he went into surgery, he was like, what, like 16 pounds?
Something.
He had just started gaining a little bit of weight.
We were so happy.
And then he lost a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah, because we actually left the hospital and then we had to go back to the hospital. He was not doing good.
He wasn't
eating.
eating.
We actually went to the hospital. We left the hospital and all the surgeries and went back
and
to
went
the
right
hospital.
back.
Because he wasn't really doing good. He didn't want to eat. He was so uncomfortable. I mean, obviously we understood. Like, you know, they just cut your whole mouth inside and all that. So it was pretty rough. He was dehydrated because he didn't want to eat. He didn't want to drink. So we went back to the hospital for almost 2 days for that
Three?
one.
Yeah, like 3 days.
Almost a week to make sure, you know, that he was okay so he could stay hydrated. But he started doing better. Thank God.
And he went from 16 pounds going into surgery to not eating for like almost a week. He didn't want to eat nothing for like a week, not even drink milk or nothing like that. We kind of got worried because all he wanted was like juice, and not even that, because that would bother the inside of the gums too.
Yeah, if it was too cold or if it was too warm, like you had to like, we tried everything, you know, just to keep him comfortable.
And he dropped to like about 14 pounds. So it was kind of sad, you know, because it's like, man, this kid is never gonna grow. But after that surgery, we're gonna show you videos and clips of everything. Like I said, we're not doing this because we want to, you know, oh, look at my son, or let's get likes, or let's get views.
Yeah.
No, there's actually parents out there that might have just got the news that their kid are gonna come out with a cleft lip and a cleft palate, or maybe just a cleft lip. But you know, my advice to you guys is don't take it the wrong way. As parents, yes, it's hard, it's sad, but if you're strong and you stay strong, they stay strong. I always say this is my little warrior. This kid is super strong. This kid went through all those surgeries like a champ. You know, and
to be honest, listen, it's not only when they come with like cleft lip and palate, it's not only cleft lip and palate, you know, there's so many things that come with it. Like, it affects your ears.
Yes. It affects like some ear thing in like your airway to your brain or something, and stuff like that. It affects a lot.
The talking, you know, it's gonna be a little hard. He's doing pretty good. He's talking a lot more, which is exciting.
Which is kind of good. I mean, he still doesn't say, you know, papa, but he knows how to say the ma part, you know. So I guess I guess it was something different for us. It was a crazy journey.
I think it changed us to better.
But
to be honest.
But I tell you something. This kid, he's something else, right, Kali? Look at the camera. You know, he's something else. But they did such a good job on him. Like, he's actually right now 21 pounds. So he's doing real good. He's eating everything in his way. So after all these surgeries, now he's eating like anything. Now, right, he like eat anything. Anything you give him, he eating it.
Yeah.
He taking it.
That's not a thing he don't like.
But you know who can actually resist this kid? This kid, I mean, the surgery to me went super well, right, Kali?
See?
Yeah.
Yay!
And he's a smart kid. He's smart. He's healthy. He's good. So we're gonna show you guys this video, and we just want you guys, you know, to just take this and dig deep inside, and just know that if you ever see anybody that looks different, don't judge them. Don't say nothing about them. You know, don't laugh at them, because you never know, it can be your kid one day. And like I said, this kid he's something else, right, Bobby? And
well, remember, we just had an appointment this past Friday, and you know, everything's good. Everything looked good. They told us that they're waiting, like, to see how he develops in the speech, how he starts talking better, whatever. The doctor said, depending on how he do with the speech and whatever, that maybe he would need another surgery, because, you know, just to help him speak and talk more. But hopefully that's not the case, right? Hopefully
not.
He starts talking even more. Thank God that he has 2 little sisters that talk a whole lot, and he
whole bunch.
He says
So he just tries to mimic it, like the same thing.
which is a good thing. It's perfect, you know. We try helping him too. He really just don't want to say papa.
To get likes or to try to get a whole bunch of shares is to, you know, encourage parents out there that have kids that are going to be born with that condition, or that are already born with the condition, to stay strong, you know. As parents, we get desperate, we get worried. You know, 1,001 things hit our brain at the same time when we hear news like that of something happening to your child. Is it hard? Yes. Is it a crazy adventure? Yes. Is it something you can overcome? Of course. But it's all in how you take it, how you do it. For us, it was super hard. Endless nights of, you know, hearing him cry, hospital. Thank God he never, because usually, you know, a lot of mucus comes down and saliva at the same time, because that's all open. You know, they have the tendency to choke on their own saliva a lot. But thank God he never choked on his own saliva or on his own mucus. This kid, he was different. But for parents out there, once again, stay strong. And remember, obviously, if you're a parent, you gotta love your kid no matter what, unconditionally. But when you have kids with special needs or kids that are born different, it's just that love is just a little bit more stronger.
It's different. Yeah.
Obviously, we love all our kids the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, Caleb has a special part in everybody's heart. Not only our hearts, but in a lot of people's hearts. So this kid is so lovable. You know, I tell people he's so small, so we get to enjoy him longer. He stays as a baby longer.
You guys see him with this blanket. It's because when he was born, he would try to use a pacifier.
Yeah.
But obviously it was open, so he couldn't really. But he got used to it, and then when he got surgery, they told us he can't use it anymore.
So
And-
he needed something to cover him.
Yeah.
So I guess the blanket that they gave him. So this kid drags a blanket every. It's not even a blanket. It could be a blanket. It could be a shirt. It could anything that he could put next to his nose. But
Yeah.
usually it's always a soft blanket. But if he doesn't find a blanket, sometimes he comes down the steps and you're looking at him like, why are you carrying your pants?
Yeah,
But it's
he
just
grabs
because
anything.
he needs to have something next to him. Yeah, no, papa. Papa. So it's harder for him to say the papa word, but it's because I guess the palate has a lot to do with your speech. But as long as he knows who I am, I don't care if he calls me mama for now, you know,
He'll
because
get
I'm
it.
papa.
He'll get it.
But this kid, he's amazing. But yeah, so we want you guys to enjoy the video and say just thank you, you know, for sitting down with us and listening to this little story time of Caleb. Mira, papi. Mira. Hey. Mira.
Dale.
Mira.
1, 2 y 3. Suscríbete. ¿No?
So yeah. So we just want you guys to enjoy this video and actually watch it. And you know, if you feel in your heart to share it or just like and comment and ask any questions, hey, we're free to answer any of your questions about kids with, you know, with cleft palate and cleft lip. Because we had the best of both worlds. He had both of them. All right, Poppy, so you're double special for us. So we just want you guys to enjoy this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe.